Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden. Welcome back to another video. Now, in case somehow you were not aware, the episode Rocketeer is now out. So if you have not seen that, definitely go check it out because it was a really good episode. As usual, as I was watching the episode, I wrote down some notes, so that's what I'm going to be going over today. But yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this video. So overall, I thought that this was a really good episode. Like, it didn't feel rushed, and that's something rare because typically I think episodes are rushed. Even if they're just a little bit rushed, if they're rushed, you can feel it. But this was the first episode in a while where I feel like they weren't really rushing through anything. I felt the pacing was really good. So just overall, a really good job on that front. Now, moving more on to the actual content, there were dinosaurs that were brought back at the very beginning of the episode, which I thought was very interesting because that feels like a sort of weird thing to be introducing in this episode. Now, keep in mind, I think that person that we saw was actually from an episode that we have not seen yet. Now, the only two episodes that we don't have like a title for yet are episode 15 and 16. Now, we know from synopsises and other things that all the other episodes are not whatever that episode is. So it's either episode 15 or 16, or it's one after that, because we did see that one guy that, you know, is often causing troubles for Jagged Stone. He was trying to like get those dinosaurs and put them on an island, I think sort of similar to a Jurassic Park kind of scenario to sell, like, you know, like a zoo essentially for dinosaurs. So we could see that in the future with her getting akumatized from him, you know, just harassing her on like, give me your dinosaurs or whatever. So the point is, we will be seeing this character. Like, they don't introduce new characters and don't like they, whenever they introduce a new character, they akumatize that character, right? Because it's a waste not to. So that character is definitely going to be akumatized at some point, whether that's episode 15 or 16 or one after this episode, which by the way is episode 17. That's what Rocketeer is episode 17 officially. Obviously it came out before that because all the episodes are out of order. Next, we have Alya's costume, which I said in my analysis video was likely not a power-up or anything like that. It's likely just her getting a new suit because now she's supposed to be undercover, right? And she did confirm that that's what it was. She was like, oh man, it's so cool how the costume automatically adjusted to my new role, which her role is essentially being a spy. And what's really cool about this is something that Ladybug should have thought of, which, you know, is really good. So her role is to see if Shadow Moth comes out in the open and is following her. Her role is to see that and try to stop him from, you know, following her, right? And then on the flip side, if he does come out, follow him to see where he goes, right? So this is something I've been saying that she should do for a while now. I think specifically in the most recent episode, this is something I said, Akuma or Shadow Moth is most vulnerable when he comes out. So Ladybug needs to step on this opportunity to follow him back. So it's really good that she is learning. Basically, the whole theme of this season is that the characters are actually learning and there's continuity. And you guys don't know how happy that makes me. All right, next up, Alya does not want to lie to Nino, which obviously who would, right? That's understandable. Now, here's the thing. At the end of the episode, Alya was like, you know what? I can't do this. I have to tell Nino because she just is incapable of, you know, keeping a little secret from Nino, which, I mean, I guess is understandable, right? But compare that to Marinette, who has been, you know, keeping up this act as, you know, I can't tell anybody for a whole year. I feel like, I don't know, maybe this is just my own opinion, right? And, you know, that's fine. You can disagree with me or whatever. But I felt like it was a little bit annoying how the rules and Ladybug is just being, you know, way too lenient about these kinds of things. And she's just like, all right, you know what, Alya? Sure, go ahead. You know what? Start spilling all the secrets to Nino. I don't really care. It's just, it feels like, you know, Ladybug went through this whole hard period of not being able to tell anybody for a year, guys. That's how long it's been. And now Alya comes along and is just like, you know, I can't do this. I gotta, you know, spill the beans to Nino. What's going on? And then Ladybug's just like, you know what? Fine, whatever. I feel like that may be a little bit insensitive of Alya. And I mean, I understand Alya's point of view, right? But to me, as a viewer, seeing what Ladybug went through for that entire year, I don't feel like, or at least from what we've seen, Alya has not sort of like understood, or at least you know, had that realization that like, oh man, I can't believe how hard this has been for Ladybug or Marinette. And that was something I was hoping that we would see in this episode, is Alya being like, man, I now feel what Marinette has been feeling for the past year, right? And it's hard for me to bear it even for the past, I don't know how long it's been, a few weeks, right? And so I feel like it would be, at least for me as a viewer, it would have given me a little bit more satisfaction to see Alya, you know, appreciate her status here and how lenient Ladybug is being with her, right? Because, you know, Ladybug at first was very you know, strict about these kinds of things, and now it's just, you know, she's just bending everything out of whack. So I don't know, that I feel like that's like a hot topic issue, right? And so some people may agree with that and some people may disagree with that, but I don't know, it felt, that was just something I had at the back of my head. I was like, man, Ladybug, you're really letting Alya do whatever she wants. It doesn't feel like, you know, she's taking this as seriously as she has before. So I don't know, that's just my own opinion. You can disagree or agree. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Next thing we learned is that Alya is going to be going on patrols with Ladybug at night, which I think is pretty cool. Although I will say, the more that Rena Rouge is out and about, or I should say Rena Furtive, because that is her new name, I suppose, but the more that she's out and about, the more likely it is that Hawkmoth or Shadowmoth is going to catch on to this and see that, you know, oh, there's a new Rena Rouge out in circulation. Now, he would not, since the costume has changed, he'd assume it's someone different, but that would still like let him know like, okay, so there is a new hero that I need to keep my eye out for, so I will maybe send out another Optigami kind of thing, right? So maybe want to be a little bit careful, but you know, I suppose if Ladybug's being careful with it, then it's fine. Now, next thing, this part kind of annoys me on Nino's part, because he was just like out and revealing not only his own identity, right? It's one thing if he's like, all right, you know what? You know, Adrien, I'm Carapace. That's one thing. But it's another thing to go out and just be like, oh yeah, by the way, Alya is also Rena Rouge, right? Because that's like, you know, you should at least be conscious of revealing someone else's identity, right? You know, it's one thing if you do it for yourself, but for someone else, that's kind of like not very good. Now, it is understandable, right? Nino's going through this hard time in his life, and that's, you know, he's emotionally unstable. But at the same time, he's got to be able to keep secrets. Like he had Adrien slipped up. I mean, obviously he's Cat Noir, so it's not really going to affect too much. But like, at the end of the day, he's still out revealing the secrets. So you got to learn how to like help keep those secrets inside, right? I don't know, just feels like got to be a little bit more cautious. And this sort of goes back to the whole like Alya telling Nino things now, because if Nino is already somebody who under pressure, and you know, when you're in a hard time, if you are one to reveal secrets at that point, maybe want to cut back on the secret sharing, because it could lead to bad things. And I think it could also be interesting if this is actually how Shadowmoth finds things out, because, you know, maybe from Nino, you know, Shadowmoth learns that, oh, Alya is still, you know, the Rena Rouge. And then at that point, he could track Alya and follow Alya again. And then from there, figure out who Ladybug is or something like that. Like, it's a dangerous situation there. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just, again, this whole episode has been filled with very controversial topics, I think. So, you know, this is just my 2 cents. You can agree, you can disagree. Now, another big part of this episode was Adrien finding out the identities, right? Because that's obviously, he didn't know that at that point, which I know this is sort of like a combination of the last point that I was talking about, but it's different in the fact that we're focusing on Cat Noir. And now Cat Noir, or Adrien, I guess, is thinking, he's like, my whole life has been a lie, right? Because Ladybug has been preaching that we have to keep identities a secret. So this new idea that like, oh, they're a couple and they know their identities, like, that's weird. How is that allowed? Like Ladybug wouldn't allow it. And then, you know, Nino was like, oh no, dude, it's real. And then he's like, wow, that's interesting. And then obviously later in the episode, Cat Noir is, you know, thinking about this like, this is weird. I don't know how I feel about this. So here's the thing, right? This is screaming, opening up the reveal, right? Like I'm pretty sure based on this new information, Cat Noir is going to be the one who initiates the reveal, right? Even in Frozen back in season 2, right? This has been hinted at for a while, right? He is the one who wants the reveal the most, right? Ladybug, the Guardian, super strict, like I said, although right now with Alya not being as strict, right? Because for whatever reason, I guess she's like, you know, sharing secrets is good, so I might as well keep doing it. But for Cat Noir, he's the one who has been a lot more likely to, you know, to initiate a kind of reveal, right? He has had good self-control up until now, but this is just the start of the breaking point, right? Now, the real question is, how long is this breaking point going to last, right? Is it going to last to the season 4 finale, which is just a few episodes away from this standpoint, right? Because this is episode 17, it goes to like 26 or whatever, so about 10 episodes, 9 episodes. Or is this gonna last a whole nother season to the end of season 5? Because as we know, at the end of season 5, the story is going to change. So it has to be either in season 4 or season 5. Now it's way more likely that it's gonna be a finale, but as we have seen this episode continuity, we cannot say that for sure. It could happen at any point. We don't know. I'm gonna say that there's a 95% chance it's gonna happen in a finale. So just keeping that as, or an introduction episode. I should say that as well. It'll either happen in an introduction episode, episode 1, or the final episode, the finale. Now, what I also think would be interesting is if they do sort of a half reveal, right? Because obviously Ladybug, as I have said earlier in this video, she is being a lot more lenient with, I guess, just everything in general. So what if at season 4, Cat Noir does a reveal to Ladybug, right? Because he's just like, you know, I can't hold it in any longer. So he is like, look, Ladybug, I'm Adrien, okay? So what if he says that and then Ladybug is just stunned, right? Because obviously she likes Adrien, but she is stunned at this point. But up until this point, right? Even at the beginning of this season, she's been like, no, I have to stay away from relationships and things like that. And we have to keep our identities a secret. Obviously, up until Alya came around, right? So what if, you know, say this happens on the season 4 finale and she's just like, I don't know how to process this. And then she runs away, like, right? Like the typical romance thing to do. So then we go this whole season 5 with Ladybug trying to process what she should do. Now, she could come to a decision at the beginning of the episode or at the beginning of the season 5, or it could be any point within season 5, or even at the finale of season 5, that could be her decision. I hope if this theory does end up happening, I hope it doesn't happen at season 5, the finale, because that would mean we go a whole season, which, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, that whole season will be interesting, but like, I want to see their relationship together, right? So I hope that it happens sooner than later, so that way it's not like, oh yay, they get together, and then it's the end. It's like, oh, well, thanks a lot, I guess. But yeah, so I think that could be interesting, like a sort of half reveal thing. So if that happens, you know, at me or whatever. But yeah, so I just think it's interesting that they are setting up that Cat Noir is going to initiate the reveal. So just putting it out there. All right, so the last thing I want to touch on, and this is a very short thing compared to the previous things, and that is Nino is the second person to break free from an akumatization, which is very cool. Congratulations, Nino. And I guess going back to the whole, like, he's sort of like revealing secrets and whatnot, he said that, you know, he wouldn't really doubt his love anymore, and he wouldn't let Shadow Moth get to him anymore. So maybe there's nothing else to worry about at this point, but I don't know. Again, could be a little bit of a dicey road there, but it sounds like Nino is at least genuine in at least he will not give himself up to Shadow Moth. So if Shadow Moth gets information out of him, it will be not with him, not willingly, I'll say. But yeah, that's really all I had to say about this episode. Overall, really good. But that's gonna be it for me, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.
E aí, moça bonita, você tá elegante e perfumada. Então é!